Hi, so this is my first time trying to vlog. This is my first time trying to make a video. I am a hot mess right now. I will continue to look down because I can't remember to look at the green dot on my computer. But I just got in from a walk. I just was walking for this person whose initials I'm using instead of his name. And I just was thinking, as I go through this month of why I stayed in domestic violence awareness, um, you know, awareness itself isn't pretty. Abuse isn't pretty. And so I thought, I could wait till I get dressed up before I go on a photo shoot tonight and do this. Or I could just come in with pink cheeks and still needing water and still hot and still sweaty and hair a total mess and sit before you and just talk to you about domestic violence. And if you're new to the site or if you've been around the site for a while or you know me, you know that I am a domestic violence survivor. In fact, I'm a survivor of the different types of abuse and violence. I've survived attempted rape as a young girl, and I was sexually assaulted, sexually molested. I had a stepfather who was very abusive as well, and as well as my mother. So I've gone through several different types of abuse, and my story is not better or worse than yours or anybody else's. It just happens to be my story. And so, because I'm in a place where I'm not absolutely healed, and I don't know that I ever will be as long as I'm here, but I do know that I've come a long way in my journey. And that is the premise of Scars and Tiaras, that I have always been a princess, and most people think of princess as this frilly tiara wearing, and I do wear tiaras, and I should put one on my head, but there's not one close by to grab really quickly now that it has occurred to me. But you think of this frilly, dressy, I must be taken care of. And that's not the kind of, prince. I mean, maybe that's the princess you want to be, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine because you should be who you are. But for me, one of my friends said warrior princess, and I'm like, yes, that is absolutely who I am. I'm not out there fighting battles on a battlefield per se, but yes, I am, And so this project is about the scars that I carry. I have scars on the outer part of my body, and I'll show them to you, if we ever meet, or you'll see them. My face is covered with different scars, not just from abuse, but just in general. I'm a clumsy girl. But my heart has carried many, many scars. My soul is scarred from the terrible things that people have done to me, and the journey back to me, because it's not a journey to a new me, it's a journey to who I am. So I just wanted to talk off the cuff today and just kind of kick this off. This why I stayed in an abusive marriage, because child abuse, you can't really, there's no justification like, oh, I stayed because I don't know, I was 5. But when you're in a marriage or a relationship and you stay, the outside world doesn't quite get it. And that's fine. I get that. I understand that. From the outside, it's hard to look in and say, why would you stand there? Why would you stand there while somebody's punching you in the face? Why would you stay? And it doesn't typically begin with a punch in the face. And you've probably heard this from different people, but it is kind of a slow grooming process, I kind of came to the revelation a couple years ago that I feel like I was groomed into the relationship that I was 13 when I met him, and I passed his first test. And obviously I can't say, oh, he definitely had a test, but it seems like it was a test, and that I passed it. And then by passing his test, I was a perfect candidate to be groomed for exactly what he wanted. And I know his father had taught him, that you take what you want and you get what you want. And so, I don't know. I've never been inside his head. I've just been on the opposite side. And all I can tell you is, what I experienced. So, number one reason why I stayed, I was 13 when I met him. I was 14 when I got pregnant. And once I was pregnant, it became really scary for me to think of being on my own at all. I mean, 14 isn't even close to being 18 legally. And even once we got married at 14, with me being 14, him being 18, I still did though I was an emancipated adult, I still didn't have any rights. Um, and for a long time, I really beat myself up for these decisions of staying. And then I realized I was a child. So first and foremost, today I was a child, and I released myself of that. I released myself of that blame that I stayed in an abusive relationship. 13 and 14, you're still a child, and you may feel like a grown up, and we all do at 13 and 14, 15, but you're really not. And where I can look back now, I wish, I would take that girl in my arms and I would just love her and guide and protect her with all my heart. And I hope that that's what I've been able to do with my own children. But so that's the first and foremost reason why I stayed. And it's a very short and simple reason, and I think it holds a lot of weight. And I hope it means something to people that, I stayed because I was a kid. I stayed because I was young, and I stayed because I didn't understand really anything different. So as I go through this series of, this messy me, because this, sometimes, I promise sometimes I won't come in all sweaty, but today I just felt like, you know what, I just need to speak my heart and speak that number one reason where it started for me, because I was young. And I will continue to go into this, and I will write about it, and I will speak about it. But, today I just wanted to put my face to my story for you. So forgive the mess, but you know what? Abuse is not pretty, and the journey is not pretty. There are beautiful parts that take place, but abuse itself and the journey itself and the healing itself is messy, and it's pulling back layers. So I could have cleaned up I'm a cluttery kind of girl sometimes. I could have cleaned all that up. I could have made it really pretty. I could have fixed my hair and put on makeup. But you know what? Sometimes the stories that need to be told do not need to be dressed up. And so I just come to you today all bare and, ready to just kind of be vulnerable with you. And I hope that you will be with me along the way. Scarsandtiaras.com. And for those who have trouble with my name, it's Angela Giles Clocky. And I know a lot of people meet me and approach me and say, hey, by the way, could you tell me how to pronounce your name? So that's how. So join me, please share. And I'm going to release this to the world. And it's, like I said, it's not pretty, but this topic's not pretty. So thank you for tuning in.